Hey guys, welcome to my channel, The Learning Destinations. I'm your host Avinash and I hope you all are doing fantastic today. Guys, so far now I was mostly covering the videos on AWS Cloud Services, DevOps and Agile methodologies. But henceforth now I also decided to enhance your architectural knowledge. It means I'm going to help you in such a way where you can design the entire cloud architecture and system designing, and that's how you can become a perfect cloud architect. Hey guys, I'm going to discuss you about one of the genuine questions and might be many of you will completely agree with my words. What happens when you go for exam preparations, you start studying different courses and you start practicing different paper set and terms, and that's how you clear the examinations. But later on, what happens when you go into the project and if you don't have the ground knowledge, then you start struggling into the project. Now I am going to eliminate the same problem for you. Under this series, I'm going to enhance your cloud architectural skills. I'm going to make you that how you can think from architectural mind so you can become the perfect cloud architect and you can give the perfect solution and system designing to your customer. Okay, cool. So let's start the sessions. But before starting, I would like to request everyone, if you are new on my channel, then please press the subscribe button and press the bell icon as well. And if you have already subscribed, then hit the like. All right, guys, let's start the session. So suppose there is one of the application running on this EC2 instances and that is being accessed by these users through the public IP address. Okay. Now Mr. Richard is the owner of these applications and he is currently facing two kind of issues. One issues like this service is sometimes unavailable, and whenever the high end user traffic generates on this application, it is getting crashed. Okay. Now as a solution architect, as a cloud architect, how you are going to give the best solutions to Mr. Richard so the applications can keep running without any interruptions, that we are going to see. So previously we have seen that Mr. Richard is facing two kind of issues. One is application is unavailable, service is unavailable, and secondly, whenever the high end user traffic generates on the application, it is getting crashed. To solve this problem, we have decided to scale the system. Now in scaling, we have two approach. One, we can go with the vertical scaling, and secondly, we can go with the horizontal scaling. But in vertical scaling, what happens? We usually increase the capacity of the resources. And when we talk about the resources, it can be RAM, CPU, etc. But if you remember, there is only one EC2 instances. The application is running on single EC2 instances in Mr. Richard case. So even though if we increase the resource capacity, that is not going to solve our problem, because if the EC2 instance is getting shut down, the entire application is getting unavailable, right? And that we don't want, right? That is why we have decided to go with the horizontal scaling, where we have multiple EC2 instances. The applications will be running on multiple EC2 instances. So even though one EC2 instance is getting shut down, still the service will be keep running on other rest two EC2 instances. We have decided to go with the horizontal scaling. But there is a problem. The users cannot directly reach to the cluster, reach to the EC2 instance cluster, which is horizontally scaled, right? There must be some routing points which can route to traffic to all these three EC2 instances. So that approach is not applicable until if we don't place anything here which can route the traffic, which can distribute the traffic among all these three EC2 instances. Okay, so previously we have seen that this user cannot directly reach to this EC2 instances group, which is horizontal scale, right? Until if we don't place anything which can route traffic to among all these EC2 instances. And that's how we have decided to place an application's load balancer here in middle of user and the application. So this ALB can route the user requests among all these EC2 instances. Okay, so we need to place here one application's load balancer, and that is by default hosted in multiple availability zone. Like you can see, it is hosted in US-East-1A and US-East-1B. So even though if one availability zone application load balancer getting shut down, still it will keep serving as there is the availability of ALB in another availability zone. Okay, so that's how. What's our learning here? Our learning here is we are going to place the application's load balancer between user and the horizontal scale EC2 group, so the traffic can equally distribute among all these EC2. As I explained earlier, that ALB you can host it in multiple availability zone. By default in AWS, the 2 availability zone you must need to enable it. Otherwise, you cannot create the application load balancer. And if you want to spin this application load balancer more than 2 availability zone, then there is also that facility available, and you can host this application load balancer more than 2 availability zone. You can host it in 3, 4, 5 availability zone. Okay guys, so far now you have solved all these two problems of Mr. Richard. The first problem was the application was unavailable sometimes, right? So since if you remember that in previous case the application was running on single EC2 instances, and that's why if there is any problem with the single EC2 instances, the services may be unavailable. But now in this case, when you decided to speed up the services into horizontal scaling, so now application is running on multiple EC2 instances. So even though there is a problem with the one EC2 instance, if it is unhealthy, still the services will keep serving on rest remaining 2 EC2 instances. So the first problem is solved. Now second problem was if there will be high end traffic, whenever the high end traffic generates, then the application is getting crashed. But now you can see that since the application is running on multiple EC2 instances, so the load will be balanced by this load balancer and the traffic will be distributed among all these 3 EC2 instances. So far now you have solved all these two problems for Mr. Richard in this architectures. Now one step more, you are going to enable the HTTPS protocol, so you can secure the communications between user and the application. So the communications between the user and the applications will be completely encrypted because you are enabling the SSL and you are using the HTTPS protocol. So that is the best design for Mr. Richard to solve the earlier two problems that he was facing, and that is the perfect architectures. So guys, this is the basic architecture, this is the basic design, but in this series I'm going to cover the complex design as well. Hey guys, many congratulations, you have successfully solved the Mr. Richard's problem, and I hope you really enjoyed the sessions. It was the basic system designing, but don't worry, because in upcoming sessions I am going to cover more complex system one by one. So that's all for this sessions, and if you haven't yet subscribed my channel, then please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. I will see you in my next tutorial. Till the time, thank you so much for watching this. Bye bye and take care.